There's nothing I hate more than scuff marks on a wall. ScuffX delivers superior scuff resistance in the most challenging, high-traffic commercial environments, thanks to its patent-pending scuff-resistant technology. Yes, there's people in a lab somewhere thinking about how to keep scuffs off walls. Where we're running around like crazy, there are actually scientists trying to figure this stuff out, and no one's done it better than ScuffX. I would not endorse this product if I didn't believe in this product. As a hotelier, it is so important to solve this problem because we spend so much money, so much time on painting hotel rooms that we finally found a solution. And I don't think anyone does it better than ScuffX. The high-performance ScuffX latex paint reduces the need for touch-ups, repaints, offers significant savings on long-term maintenance costs. And for all the information you need, go to benjaminmoore.com.
It's checking in with Anthony and Glenn, teaching you to be the hotelier that you wanna be. It's checking in with Anthony and Glenn.
Anthony!
How was your vacation, Glenn?
Man, I'm feeling so good after being away on a real vacation. The first real vacation I've taken in 2+ years, so wow.
You know what? This is the first time ever I've not taken a vacation because of all my family schedule, who's going back to college, who's got to play, who's got this, who's got that. And we just realized that we didn't go on vacation. So I have not been on vacation this year. So
You poor thing.
I may be angry today.
Today?
Actually, every day is a vacation for me. So one of the things that I saw maybe a week ago when you were on vacation was a picture of you and your sons, and I've never seen you happier in my life.
Right. Well, mostly because I was more than 1,000 miles away from you, but also because we were at the Magic Kingdom, and we had such a freaking good time on this vacation. And you know what? Whatever people say about Disney and the heat and the crowds and the blah, 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 for me and my family, it was amazing to be able to shed the day-to-day life, forget absolutely everything, and have something that was fun that we could all do together that just brought us pure joy, and we didn't have to think about anything.
Talking about pure joy, this show gives me pure joy.
Yeah, same here.
And on this show, we're going to talk about your vacation. But first, I'd imagine we want to say where we are today.
That's absolutely right. We are once again coming at you from the Garden City Hotel, and I love this place. I'm getting excited because as the chill of fall starts to hit the air, they're going to be doing this great Oktoberfest here on September 29th. So be sure to come on by the Garden City Hotel to check out that event.
And what do you get at the Oktoberfest on October 29th? What happens?
I'm going to guess that people will be drinking beer.
A lot of beer.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? This may become my staycation. I may come here for a couple of days.
You really should do that. We've been recording here regularly since we started this show almost a year ago, coming here, but we've been doing the show now more than a year. And I still haven't stayed here since then, and it's something that we keep talking about, and we absolutely have to do.
The Speakeasy is going to open soon, so again,
Yes.
the season, so I look forward to that. So enough about where we are. Let's talk about where you were.
Yes.
And you went on vacation to Disney World. I am a big Disney World fan. I love Disney World. I've been to Disney World probably 7 or 8 times. But I think I'm good. I think I'm good with Disney World for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm not a Star Wars person, so I know they're opening up a major Star Wars attraction.
Yeah,
Is it open?
It opened yesterday as we were recording this. We're recording this on the 30th. It opened on August 29th down at the Disney Hollywood Studios theme park. I was there the week before it opened. And, it was one of those moments where I was looking at the entranceway to Galaxy's Edge and just looked all forlorn, and that single tear rolled down my face because I was so sad that I wouldn't be able to go in and take a picture with the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, I don't understand anything you just said, but that's okay. I've never seen 1 second of Star Wars. The only thing I've ever seen of Star Wars is a commercial or an interview with one of the celebrities, but I've never, ever seen a Star Wars movie. And not that I don't care about it. I appreciate it, respect it, and completely overwhelmed by the success of it. It's just not my thing.
How did you avoid it though? And how do you know it's not your thing if you've never?
I'm not a
experienced that thing?
sci-fi guy. I'm not a scary movie guy. I'm not. I stay in my lane. I like bios. Like I go on when I'm on the airplane documentaries. I've watched every documentary that Delta has to offer. I'm a documentary person. I just love them. So I'm just not a Star Wars. If it didn't happen, I don't really care about it.
Yeah,
I'm not that creative.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm kind of like the bloom seems to be off the rose with me and Star Wars, and this seems to be a big thing that's going throughout the fandom that's out there right now. I don't love it anymore. I don't hate it anymore. I'm just kind of whatever anymore. We got this great new movie theoretically coming out. I mean, it is coming out, but it's theoretically going to be great in just a few months' time, and I'm not as excited as I used to be.
What is the number one hospitality moment from your vacation?
I think the number one hospitality moment from my vacation is I had the absolute pleasure of staying at the Margaritaville Orlando Resort. And my family and I, my wife and 2 children, got a 4-bedroom cottage that had a hot tub and a pool. And it was one of those that were kind of attached where the hot tub, when it gets full, the water runs off in like a little waterfall into the pool. I think the greatest moment was walking into that room and feeling the excitement and the possibility of what I would be experiencing over the next 8 days with my family.
So has that changed the way you want a vacation?
It has completely changed the way I want a vacation. And I want to put this out there to hoteliers to really understand what is happening. If you listen to this show, we've talked about it a lot. If you listen to my No Vacancy with Glenn Haussman podcast series, I talk about it there a lot, that there's a systemic shift changing in society. The way that people want to experience properties is changing very much. And for me, staying in a cottage as opposed to 1 or 2 hotel rooms completely changed the game for me. It was a fantastic experience that made us feel like we had a home as opposed to renting a room somewhere.
And it was cleaned every day?
Cleaned every day. Well, not every day, but that was my fault because I would put the do not disturb sign on the door and forget to remove it. But yes, they had daily housekeeping in there, which was absolutely great. That's the one thing that my wife craves more than anything on vacation is not to have to clean up after herself while on vacation.
I stayed in that hotel for business because I was down there speaking to the group. And I stayed in the room and it was beautiful, but it wasn't really summertime, and I didn't go to Disney World. And I wasn't with my family, but the room was absolutely beautiful. Tell the audience where, and this is not a commercial for Margaritaville, but it is really a great property. Tell them where it is, how far it is from Disney World, and tell them all the amenities of that hotel.
Okay, so this is not a commercial for it. I happen to be straightforward. I love the Margaritaville brand. Now, I'm not.
They're coming to New York, by the way.
Right, they are. And I'm not a huge Jimmy Buffett fan. I'm not a huge Parrot head. All of those guys, you listen
Although
to me,
my family caught you at the concert because they were there and they saw you.
They were, because I'm very friendly with the executive team. I happen to like it. And I think going to a Jimmy Buffett show over the summer is a great fun.
Well, my wife's a big Jimmy Buffett fan, and she was there because I couldn't make it. I was traveling.
Right.
And she went with my daughter Nina. And my daughter Nina and my daughter Mia. My daughter Nina is 17 years old, and she said it's the best concert she's ever been to. It's a Jimmy Buffett concert.
Wow.
I think maybe it's because she met you.
Well,
But
that's why she didn't say it was the worst.
Yeah.
Experience.
She said you were smoking pot, though. Is that true?
No, it wasn't true.
I'm kidding.
Because nobody else was in the
section.
she
said there wasn't a lot of pot smoking.
And it felt a little weird and awkward to be
a
doing
Jimmy
that
Buffett
sort
concert
of
without.
They're more drinkers than pot smokers.
Yeah.
You can hang out with me at one of the fish shows that I love going to.
A lot of pot smoking.
Flip the equation on that one. But to be fair, I am a hippie jam band fish head kind of guy, so I'm not a parrot head kind of guy. But I love what the brand is doing, and I've been a big fan of the brand since its inception in the hotel business 5-6 years ago at this point, because they understand who their audience is and have created with Margaritaville Holdings an amazing array of products and services, et cetera, that fully plays upon what that branding is. It's a company that so understands their customers, I think, better than most companies out there. And I think that is being expressed to its fullest at the Margaritaville Resort Orlando, which had a hotel with 150 rooms or something like that. And the first phase of the cottages, they've built 200 of them already out of a planned 1,000. I know from speaking to the exec teams shortly, they're going to be starting on a timeshare component that's over there. They've also got a really big-sized water park there called H2O Live that I took the kids to one day.
Oh, it opened? It wasn't open when I was there.
Yeah, you were there over the winter, I think in February.
Yeah.
Or something
Was it
like
cool?
that.
Was it a good water park?
It was a good water park. Yeah, and they're doing some fun things at the water park that's different that I had never seen before, and I didn't quite figure out, mostly because I didn't give it the time to figure out. But they've got one thing that they do have, which is cool, is they've got monitors throughout the park to tell you how long the lines are for each of the water park experiences, which I think was fantastic. But everybody, when you walk into the water park, gets a bracelet. And I know Universal Studios is doing this at the Volcano Bay Water Park with the Tapu Tapu thing that they call it to help skip the line. So this thing, you put it up against stuff, and you could score points throughout the day for as many water slides as you go on. I'm not exactly sure how that worked out, but it looked like they're really moving towards trying to engage their customers in a fun, different way. The wave pool was awesome. They have this massive, massive screen that's there, and from time to time they'll show movies on it, under their dive-in movies kind of thing, which I think is a fantastic kind of idea. My kids loved it. The only thing I didn't like about the water park, and this is not a comment about the water park as much as me, is we were there on a day that didn't have a lot of lines, and I had to walk up and up the steps, up the steps, up the steps, up the steps. So many times it was physically exhausting, right? I would love to see water parks get rid of having to do all the climbs. Just give us some way to
So you
get
want
up
like
there
a mass elevator or like a escalator?
something like that. But
I think the water would screw the
But it was
escalator
like,
up.
I don't know, man. It was just 7 to 10 flights up every single time.
That means you're old, man.
It is, and not only that, but my feet are very delicate, Anthony.
You
So
have delicate feet. So you definitely couldn't go to the water park in the one that I did in Ohio. Because your feet are delicate.
Be sure to check back to episode 71 of our series, the water park bug out. And no, I would not be going over there.
Did you say episode 71?
Of the R series. R
71?
Yeah.
So this is like what, 70? Is this 72?
70 something.
Wow.
I don't know. I have
Okay,
to
so on 100th, we have
back.
to. What's our 100th guest? We have to come up with a really good guest for our 100th show.
Yeah. All right. So hey, out there, if you think you're a great guest for our 100th show, drop us a line over here.
So, okay, so Margaritaville, you liked it.
So-
you liked that. It was
But
close
I
to
do want to
Disney World.
talk about those cottages and stuff and why it's changed my idea of vacationing, right? Because up until this trip, every vacation I took, including an incredible vacation I took with my family 2 years ago to Israel, where my kids were bar mitzvahed at the wall over there. It was all
at
about
the wall over there.
Yeah.
At the wall.
Yeah.
That wall.
that wall, that little insignificant piece that's one of the most fundamental parts of multiple religions. That's out
At
there.
that wall over there.
Yeah, the cornerstone of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, that little
That little
thing. The thing about that trip was, as incredible as it was, is my family felt on top of each other. We had one room for 4 people. My kids were 13 at the time. I have twins. And it's kind of crowded. Everybody's on top of each other and having to figure out the showering and the getting ready and all of that kind of stuff. It's time consuming. It loses some of its luster. But we had this incredible 4-bedroom cottage, and cottages at the Margaritaville Orlando Resort go up to 8 bedrooms, which is incredible. So we had each room had its own shower and bathroom. I mean, how incredible is that just to begin with? We had a full-size kitchen, full-size everything, because these are actual homes that are then put into a rental pool. So you could buy the homes and put them back into a rental pool as an investment play for yourself. But for me, we just wanted to go and vacation in one of them, so we rented one of them. And I brought my own coffee because I'm very specific about the coffee I want. We woke up every morning to our great coffee, full-size refrigerator and freezer to put our booze in there, breakfast for the kids in there, fruit, vegetables, whatever we wanted to have in there. And the cool thing was, when we came back each and every night, and we spent a lot of times at the Disney parks and then a full day at the Universal parks, when we got home, I would grab a Land Shark beer from the fridge. I want to keep it on brand, or the Jimmy Buffett beer, and we'd hop in the pool, hop in the hot tub, and all four of us would just kind of hang out and talk and really be together in a fun, different, meaningful way that wasn't everybody looking at their screens because we're back in the hotel room.
Wow. Okay. And that's usually what happens when you come back from vacation. You tell the kids you can't be on your phone all day, but when you get back to the hotel room, everybody's on their screens.
Yeah, right.
But so this allowed you, because of the environment, because of the way it's structured, it allowed you to continue the fun of the day in your hotel.
Right. And I think it enhanced the family togetherness and the spirit of vacation shown through the incredible hospitality experience that the Margaritaville Orlando Resort set the stage for.
Yeah, and I think we got away from that in the last 20 years, and I think we're coming back to it. I think what you just said is exactly on point. It's everything that I hear from everyone I ever talk to. That's why Airbnb and all this home sharing is doing well. But this brings, and I think what you're seeing more with the brands is you're seeing the brands getting into this world. Not only Margaritaville as far as these homes, but just in general, I think all the brands are realizing that this is how people want a vacation.
Right. It's very, and to be fair, if I had this cottage when I was away on a business trip, I wouldn't have had that same happy, glowy feeling. Because a lot of times I'm very fortunate. I know a lot of people in the business, I get these upgrades to these rooms, and they're too massive. I don't need that much space, right? But when I was with the family, everybody could be together, but then we could all kind of have our own space too. And it kept the love going throughout the entire week.
You want to stay married for a long time and you don't want to throw your kids out of the house?
Right.
Have your own bathroom.
Right. And I'm an early riser. So I was up and I got to do work for an hour and a half in the morning, make the coffee, chill out, go sit out in the backyard area that we had and not disturb anyone, but still have that sanctity of the vacation. Too many trips I've taken when my kids were little, in fact, I would have to go down to the lobby and hang out there and feel like a lost soul while the family slept.
And see people you don't want to see.
Right.
In your underwear.
Right.
You're not allowed to do that, by the way.
Well, it's too bad because people want to see me.
So you still, and I appreciate you telling us how wonderful the home was and how wonderful that experience was and how it brought you together, but you still didn't answer my question.
Which is?
And it's a very specific question. Yes. What was the greatest hospitality moment? Meaning, could be with an individual, could have been with a specific amenity. It could have been in Disney World, could have been in Margaritaville, could have been at the airport. What was the thing that was like, oh, wow, that was real great. That was a great moment.
All right. Let's say this is difficult because I don't know if I had the same hospitality experience that the average guest.
Doesn't matter. I'm asking what your experience was. Doesn't matter.
All right. My experience was, I'll tell you what, I've got the perfect experience that when they didn't know who I was, right? We were checking in to the property, or I was, because my family was still out in the car. And there was a couple ahead of me that seemed to be involved in some whole process that was going to take a little bit longer. So somebody else on staff came over, struck up a conversation with me, got me a welcome cocktail, and really made me feel special, at that moment. And it was such an incredible welcoming experience. And I'd have to stand there online. And I will say that I've been to Disney hotels. And when you're standing on that line at those Disney hotels, they don't imbue the spirit of hospitality when you're standing on those hotels, right? They're all caught up with, it's magical, so they don't have to worry about customer services they did 15, 20 years ago. But here, it's absolutely incredible how every single staff interaction I had made me feel like I was special. So that was really great. Then, because they knew who I was and that I was coming, we had a whole team of people that welcomed us and brought us to the cottage, and we got all of that kind of stuff, which was great. But then we went to the restaurant that night, again not knowing who we were, and the service was just really very hands-on.
But that moment where they know who you are, and meaning who you are is someone important to Margaritaville because you do work for them, you're friends with the executives there. But the moment where they come over, recognize you, appreciate you, that doesn't mean anything when we're traveling by ourselves.
Right.
But when you're with your family, tell me you don't feel a little like a rock star.
Could I tell you something? I felt a lot like a rock star, and I sent my friend an email that said, thanks for making me look super badass in front of my family.
Right.
Because that was so freaking awesome. What I do for a living is mysterious to my family.
Right.
Partly because it's a little bit complicated to understand, partly because nobody really cares in my house, right? And that's not a swipe at them. I could probably focus more on my wife's teaching career too, right?
Well, my daughter just realized I'm not shooting Hotel Impossible anymore. It's been 2 years. so
Right. Okay. So to have people respond to me and who my career persona is in front of my family in that way was one of the most exciting, memorable experiences that I've had as an adult. And it felt like for me, it's like, look, kids, you see me working my ass off all the time. This is what the result is. This is what people think of me and what I bring to the table. And I don't mean to sound like I have any hubris or anything like that.
You've worked hard, and
Right.
you're in our community because you've been welcomed into our community as a writer and a journalist, and now you're more well known in our community than I am, even though people know me from television. But really, the nuts and bolts of what runs our organization, hospitality or career field, I should say, you're a well-known entity, and not only well-known, because a lot of well-known entities, you're well-respected. So to have that pay off in front of your children, there's nothing like it.
No, it was really, really something that is special, and I hope to be able to replicate, one day. So that was really great. What was not so great was 95 degrees every day, insane humidity. And
I'm sorry.
lots of crowds.
Were you in Orlando in August?
Yeah.
And you're concerned about the weather?
Look,
you don't want to be in Orlando today.
Anthony. Oh my God, no. Nobody told me that it was hot in Florida.
I went to Spain. It was 107 degrees. I was 100. Oh, then I was in. Where was I? I was in Arizona for something recently. Right. Why was I in Arizona? Do you remember?
I don't remember why you were in Arizona.
110 degrees.
Jeez, I was in Phoenix a couple of years ago for the lodging conference, a big hotel industry event that's every single September. It was 116 there one day. When I was there.
Always have to one up me, don't you?
If I can, I'd two up you.
Okay, best meal you had on vacation. And the reason I want to talk about your vacation and this episode, it'll be a quick one. It'll be like 22-minute episode.
We're already 20 in.
Because it's really it's really important for people to realize that the things that we grew up on, Disney World and Orlando, yes, I would like people to go to Italy and go to Europe and go experience other things. Like my brother Angelo, I said, Angelo, go somewhere. And he went to Hawaii and he loved it because he always goes to Disney World. So and he went to Italy with me and he loved it. So it's really important to experience other things besides Walt Disney World. However, when you go back, you start realizing it's not your parents' Orlando anymore.
Right. Yeah, it's very, very true. And we did have an incredible time at the Margaritaville Resort, and then it was really fun to do that. And I do want to tell everybody, I do like to take my kids to real places. Last year we went, I had a business trip, which is why I said I hadn't vacation in 2 years. We went to London. We did the Israel thing. So we've done some fun things. Last summer my kids went to Spain and a couple of other places. So it's nice to be well traveled, but it's also great to have
come home to what you know,
have that Disney experience and be able to share something with the kids that's a little bit different and not just running around and seeing historical sites, just pure unadulterated fun. Now to get to your answer, your question.
Hold on. I'm going to mix it up.
All right,
ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do our famous Ask Glenn a Question round. So I ask him a question, and he has 5 seconds to answer it. Then I move on to the next question.
All right, let's do it.
And we have done this exactly 0 times.
I know.
So this should
That's
be fun.
why it's so famous.
Right. So favorite food while you were there?
Yak and Yeti restaurant at the Animal Kingdom.
Favorite interaction at Disney Park?
With the staff?
Favorite interaction at Disney World?
Looking at my kids when we were doing the Flight of Pandora ride, the Flight of Passage in Pandora Land at Animal Kingdom, and looking over and seeing them, maybe the happiest I've ever seen them in their entire lives.
Wow. Something you saw at Disney World that you've never seen there before? Outside of Star Wars.
Somebody not angry. No, I saw a bunch of different rides for the first time. I got to see the Frozen ride for the first time. I love the quality of the animatronics. The coolest thing that I saw was the Navi River Journey ride, which is the sea ticket type of attraction that's at the Pandora Land. The animatronic there is the most sophisticated, most incredible one that I've ever seen. They're starting to look like real things now. So that really blew me away from the technology kind of standpoint.
Yes or no question. Did you go on Space Mountain?
Yes.
How many times?
Yes. We did. I had fast passes, and we waited once, so 3 times total.
Universal or Disney World?
Disney World. Universal, too many freaking screens. I'm tired of your goddamn screens, and I paid a crap ton of money to get their express pass to skip the lines, right? And still had to wait 20, 30 minutes on those lines. I felt very ripped off over the whole experience between that and having to look at freaking screens all day.
Why screens? I haven't been there in a while.
All the rides and Disney's starting to do this too, and it really pisses me off. Their idea now of rides with big technology is to just use video screens, right? So they've got the Gringotts ride that they have there. I feel like it's basically they have this roller coaster that takes you from room to room, so you could look at more stuff on screens. The King Kong ride, they drive you from room to room, so you could watch crap on screens.
So it's not the King Kong ride's not a real ride?
It is. Well, you sit in a vehicle. And the vehicle moves, but then you're surrounded by screens. And I'm watching a cartoon King Kong do stuff.
I
right?
don't want to do that.
No. Even the Pandora ride is just a giant screen.
You think that's to save
Disney.
money?
I think it's a combination of saving money and a lack of creativity. Everyone's relying on the same old tricks over and over again. Transformers ride that they have at the Universal Studios Park is literally the same exact ride as a Spider-Man ride with a different theme. More screens.
I wish people can see your mannerisms
Yeah.
because you look like a 12-year-old person, kid.
Because the 12-year-old in me is pretty pissed off at that. Because what I loved about Disney when I was a kid, and the one thing that Universal does better is make faster, more intense rides, but Disney created this magical experience that didn't rely on screens. It used animatronics. It used a lot of stage techniques, theatrical type of effects to really create a fun, immersive experience. And to me, I would much rather be on Splash Mountain going between show scene and show scene than to go from show scene to show scene and look at different screens. I could do the screen thing at home.
Right, there's enough screens. One souvenir you bought, you're like, wow, that was a ton of money for no reason.
I bought nothing.
You bought nothing?
I don't like stuff. I like to eat food.
So your children got no souvenirs?
The one thing, you said what I bought. My kids bought a bunch of T-shirts and stuff. One of my kids bought an amazing tapestry poster, which we then left in the rental car.
Now, did they use their savings or did you pay for it?
They were going to use their savings, but sucker daddy said,
I'll pay for it.
I got yelled at so bad by mommy.
Yeah, me too. That happens in my house all the time.
Grandma gave them $100 so they could spend it. And what did you do? I'm like,
So what did you? So what was the thing you bought that you?
I snuck in a couple of extra sakis at the Japan Pavilion in Epcot. That was Daddy's treat.
so did you get pulled over for walking while intoxicated?
No, there were too many other fucked up motherfuckers out there. They didn't even notice me. It's so funny when you go to Epcot that everybody wants to play the game of drinking around the world, right? And my wife and I are rank amateurs. It was so funny. I'll tell you something else because my kids don't listen to this show. My wife is not a drinker, but on this trip she decided she wanted alcohol and she didn't want the kids to really think that she was ordering drinks, so she would keep.
Why?
She's being silly, just a little, and she's like, she'd text me, order me another drink. And then I'd be like, yeah, can we get her another drink? And she'd be like, Glenn, come on. Don't do that. What are you doing to me? Text, give me another one.
That sound you
heard. Yeah, start chugging down the champagne.
Okay, so we're going to come to an end of this episode of Glenn on Vacation. In 30 seconds or less, what do you want people to learn from your vacation?
I think if you're going to be doing a family vacation, try to set the stage for you and your family to be able to interact in a really meaningful way. What does that mean to you? It's probably something different than it means to me. But for me, it really meant having that space that we could be all together, away from those distractions, while simultaneously having a set of activities that would allow us to not have to think too hard while promoting that togetherness aspect of our vacation.
When I ran the Nickelodeon down in Orlando, one of the things that I loved was I saw kids and parents not waiting on lines, just sitting by the pool, kids going up and down the slides. We had entertainment at the pool. We had all kinds of games, slime, all that kind of stuff. The bucket at 4 o'clock would come down and slime you in the head. It was fantastic, and a lot of people would actually just give up their Disney World park passes that they bought in advance because they go one day and they come back and they stay there because you can really have a real vacation without having to stand in line and sweat all day.
Yeah, the one thing that I loved about the Nickelodeon Resort, and I must have stayed there when you were operating the place without even knowing you at the time, right, was it was one of the first places I saw a zero-entry pool, and I thought that, as simple as it is, was one of the most brilliant things that I've ever seen in my life. Because when I had itty-bitty, teeny-tiny toddlers, to have to get in a deep pool and deal with it, even if it was 3 feet, whatever.
Pain in the butt.
Right, pain in the butt. But for the babies to be able to go in as far as they felt comfortable with and splash around, it was a huge relief for mommy and daddy, and I think it added to the fun quotient.
When you were there, was the bucket coming down with green slime at 4 o'clock?
I don't remember
Was there foam on the deck? Do you remember? Was there concrete or foam?
This is a lot of years ago.
How many years
already.
ago? I'll tell you if I was there.
Probably 10,
okay.
Maybe more.
It was after I was there, or it could have been before.
I don't know.
It was still run well. Was it clean?
It was clean. I don't really have that many experiences about it, but maybe it was after you left because I felt like they had already stopped doing a lot of the shows and stuff that they had there.
Because we had a lot of shows.
Yeah,
it was after I left. But it was a great park. So, tell us something we don't know.
I feel like you've learned a lot about what I don't know here today, but I am I'll keep it to the Disney theme. I am a freak for getting those fast passes, and I knew that you had to get them 30 days in advance, and I wanted to be able to make sure that my family vacation went off without a hitch. So I did fun stuff like stay up till midnight so I could make sure that at 12 o'clock and 1 second, I was in there getting fast passes 30 days in advance for the rides I wanted when I wanted them.
So you have to get fast passes 30 days in advance?
Yeah, but if you stay in a Disney hotel, then you could get them 60 days in advance. So that's a little tip for everybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That is a tip. Give us one more tip.
One more tip on the Disney parks. I think that they lie to you, in particular with the Pandora ride.
Mickey does not lie.
Ride. I think that they will utilize some of the stuff that they have to affect crowd flow in a particular way, meaning at the Flight of Passage ride, it never got down below 95-minute wait. On average, it was 115 to 125-minute wait, according to my Disney Experience app and to the signs in the park. 45-minute actual wait. We started talking to the people on the staff because we did that ride a couple of times. We found that they said that if they put it down too low, everybody will come to it. So by artificially increasing that wait time to about 2 hours, it moderates the lines and makes them a lot smaller. So if you're going to Disney, don't get scared by those long lines that say 115, 120 minutes wait. My guess is the new Smuggler's Run ride at Galaxy's Edge, which is the Millennium Falcon Experience ride, is going to have inflated time. So don't let that scare you.
Oh.
All right.
I just learned something.
Yeah. Tell us something. I don't know about you, Anthony.
Well, I'll stay on the vacation mode because there's two things that happened to me over the last 10 days that we'll talk about on other podcasts, but doesn't seem very vacation-y. So the place that we go to every year, Palaci's in the Catskills, closed this year. And it's been a dagger in the hearts of my family because it's been our go-to. And it's like we play volleyball and bocce, and the lady comes around with the pasta, and that's not in our lives anymore. It was last week that we were supposed to be there, and it's kind of like it was a knife in our heart. So that's one of the reasons we didn't. But we usually go on 2 vacations. We go on that vacation, which really to us is really like going up to Grandpa's house, which is really not Grandpa's house, and then another vacation. But so that was really hard, Glenn.
Yeah.
Well, you were frolicking in Orlando.
Were you?
Actually, was I traveling last week? I don't think I was, or maybe I was. I don't remember.
I
don't think so. But I actually took rides on the boardwalk where I live,
fun.
And it's a 14-mile round trip. So that's fun.
Right.
I actually set my alarm this morning because I've been sleeping more than 5 hours. You know, I don't sleep very often, or very much. So I've been sleeping the last 3 days more than 7 hours.
Wow.
So last night I went to sleep at 10:30, which is like unheard of. And I said, all right, I'll set my clock for 6 o'clock before I come here to talk to you. And I'm going to go take a bike ride by myself at 6 a.m. in the morning. I got up at 7:30, and I got dressed and came here. So, where can we find you?
Well, before we do that, I do.
Let's read a comment.
That's right. If you guys are nice enough to go up on the iTunes over there and give us a 5-star comment, we are going to read it on the air. So I want to thank Kurt Hollywood for leaving a 5-star review for us. And he says, from hospitality to video production management, amazing listen for everyone. I discovered this podcast after being a huge fan of Anthony on Hotel Impossible since my college days. In the 5 years since graduation as a film and video production major, I unexpectedly went to work in the hospitality business at major theme parks and resorts, including Disney, Discovery Cove, great park, by the way, Legoland, and Universal Studios Hollywood. After putting in many hours at these resorts, I was fortunate enough to land a job as a video production manager for a global company in California, where I now oversee a creative team. This podcast offers incredible advice for those in the hospitality business and beyond. The hospitality business taught me so much about myself and how to interact with people and situations. As a major film major, hospitality wasn't even on my radar, but starting my professional career in the hospitality world was a blessing. Every lesson learned in hospitality can be applied to any field, anywhere, and to anyone. As a young manager still learning the ropes, I appreciate Anthony and Glenn's approach to teaching this information. Thank you both so much. And thank you, Kurt Hollywood. I really appreciate that.
Wow, what nice words.
Right?
That's it never gets old when you hear nice comments. I want to be able to do things that make me happy, but also give information. And so this podcast actually makes me happy. I love doing this podcast. Right. A lot more than I ever thought I would love doing the podcast. And so if I can have joy and also we can disseminate information, what's better than that?
Right. What I really love is sometimes I feel like we're doing this in a vacuum almost for each other.
Right.
You know, right?
I really feel that.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, I need a podcast day.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's just great to hear that we are making a difference for people out there. That brings me so much joy. One other thing that will bring you joy in life, my final tip to you for a great, happy vacation, if you get an upgrade to first class on the flight, give it to your spouse. They will be very, very happy for it.
You're a nice spouse.
Well, the alternative would have been pure hell.
Well, it would be really shitty of you to have your wife and coach while you're in first class.
I will tell you, though, the nicest thing that I think I did on the vacation was not use Clear and pre-check, and I went on the regular line for security at the Orlando airport.
Again, wonderful, but a little douchey if you didn't.
I know, right? Yeah. As a matter of fact, I got to a talk with the TSA guy over there. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm a little out of shape. I'm usually pre-check. He was like, why don't you go on it? Why don't you go on pre-check? I'm like, yeah, I'm here with my family. He goes, I would have left him. I'm like, what am I supposed to be like? See you later, suckers.
Well, I was going last summer. I was going to Europe with my daughter to shoot some shows, and we made her an assistant producer. Mm-hmm. So come with me for 13 days. So we're going, and I get first class when I travel because of the show, and right. So I'm not paying to go to Europe. I'm not paying a first class ticket to Europe.
It's a lot
for
of
my daughter.
money, yeah.
So I said to my producers, we're in a meeting, and I was like, hey, I'm flying first class, but my daughter, I'm going to just fly her and coach, or, maybe I'll do a little upgrade, but not first class. And I was like, by a show of hands, how many people think that that's a douchebag thing to do?
Who
and
didn't raise their hand?
They're like, and I was like, really? They're like, dude, that is terrible.
No, I don't think so. I disagree. Kids, all bets are off. Spouse, you got to hook up.
So my daughter wound up in first class, but I learned something. I don't know. I didn't do it. I was like, I'm not spending that money, but I still felt bad. I said, when I get to the airport, hopefully that there's a first class and I can upgrade cheaper, or give her my seat and I'll sit and coach, right? Which my daughter Nina would take in a second. My other two daughters wouldn't do it. She would do it in a second. So. Sorry, Nina, but it's true. And so I get to the airport, and I find out that it's $700 round trip for first class, as opposed to like $5,000 like 2 days before.
Right.
So I paid the $700, and my daughter was in first class with me.
Wow.
And I thought that was worth it for a round trip, $350 each way for her to be in first class with me. But yeah, they thought that was a bad move. So you can find me anywhere you want to be on the internet at Anthony Hotels, but where can we find the great Glenn?
And I am at Traveling Glenn. That's Traveling Glenn. Lots of G's, lots of N's in there. So be sure to get that right. There's been a lot of fun today. I love talking about myself. Turns out.
You know what's interesting? You said something when I was driving here this morning. I felt the same way. I was like, "Am I doing this podcast because it's a real good podcast and it's good information?" Which I believe it is, 100%. But am I doing it just for me because it's really good, like in between everything that I'm doing and, whatever I'm doing, it's like this is a day where nothing else interrupts me.
Right.
Like I can come here and I don't have any other things to worry about. It's almost like a fantasy day for me. It's like I don't really have to work. I just have to talk.
Yep, and any damn with you, Anthony, is pure fantasy.
So on behalf of Glenn, I'm Anthony.
Thanks for checking in.
It's checking in with Anthony and Glenn, teaching you to be the hotelier that you wanna be. It's checking in with Anthony and Glenn.